welcome into another edition of the Cavalier Connection podcast. I'm your host, Jack Lowe, joined as always by my dad, Jeff Lowe, and Jay Ballard. How we doing tonight, guys? Jay, a couple days after 700 total offensive yards and a Virginia Tech loss. Yes, I'm going to bring it up again because I'm not over it yet. How you feeling today?
Doing great. Looking forward to Saturday.
Yes, sir, Dad.
Doing good. I'm looking forward to Saturday, too. Going to be pushing it.
Ooh.
To get to Charlottesville Saturday. It's going to be snug as a bug in a rug. The Cavalier Connection, Jeff and young Mason may be pulling in at we might walk in the stadium and the clock's already started to the game.
No 59 countdown on this one.
Oh, that's definitely not happening unless some crazy rainstorm comes through here early.
There you go. And I'll mention, we talked about it very briefly the other day. You're not going to want to miss this one. You're not going to want to get into the stadium too late because it sounds like the University of Virginia has some nice rewards going for some season ticket holders. So you're going to get to pick yourself up some free concessions. The coaster set I saw, the coaster set looks nice. So Make sure you're in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be there in time to get that. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, no, great stuff. I saw the coasters look nice. They got the old Caveman logo on there, which I love, and the horse logo on the coaster. So it looks great. So if you're a season ticket holder, be sure to check out wherever you can find that information at. Whether it's on the website, go check Eric Ward's Twitter to figure out how to get that stuff, or in your email or whatnot. And
they shot it out in the email.
Yep. So check your email for that. With that being said, though, tonight's episode is brought to you by Mincer. Saturday Night Football is back in Charlottesville. The lights, the music, the memories of games past. And through it all, one constant, Mincer's UVA imprinted sportswear. Since 1948, Who's have stopped by the corner to gear up before kickoff. Sweatshirt for crisp fall nights, hats for the walk to class on Monday, and the latest UVA gear to show your colors on game day. This Saturday, as Stanford comes into town, keep the tradition alive. Visit Mincer's on the corner, the shops at Stonefield, or shop online at mincers.com. That is mincers.com. Mincer's, where Wahoos have always gone to get game day ready. I always say it because I always seem to be wearing it. This hat, I got it from Mincer's. It's kind of hard to see with the lighting. Very nice hat. I wear it a lot. You always see me with it a lot. And I don't have it with me, but we also made a purchase back before the Coastal Carolina game. Some new shirts we got, a hoodie I was just wearing. Very great stuff. You don't want to miss out on any of it. Very great stuff. With that being said, we're going to get into tonight's episode. Coming in Saturday night, as I just mentioned a moment ago, the Stanford Cardinals coming into town.
Jack, I got to stop you. There. You got to know the nickname of the team you're playing.
You talking about the Trees?
They are not the Cardinals. What is their nickname? Do you know?
The Trees? Are you talking about the Trees?
It is the Cardinal. The Cardinal. They are one of, like, I don't know. It's a very low number of schools that do not have an S at the end of their nickname. So it's
Jay's putting everybody to sleep. He's putting everybody to sleep with the history lesson.
And just to educate the audience a little further, and this is what I understand, is not the bird. That is not the Stanford Cardinal. The bird is the cardinal color.
Oh,
but yet red. The tree. I don't know why the tree is green. Maybe there's I don't know. But yes, they are the Stanford Cardinal.
Well, I apologize. The Stanford
not
Cardinal.
Like the Louisville Cardinals, who we will play in a couple weeks.
There you go. And I've got to mention this before we get any further. I gotta say that the mascot of Stanford, the tree, has got to be the ugliest mascot in the history of sporting events. Am I wrong?
Yes, I like the tree.
You like the tree?
Oh
my God! I can't stand looking on the sideline. You see this tree? I don't like it. A Caveman's so much cooler. But with that being said, we're getting really off track here. I was gonna mention coming in Saturday night, Stanford. Long distinguished rivalry between these two schools. Going back multiple years, they've played all but none. These two schools Virginia's never played Stanford in football. This is going to be the first time ever. So this is going to be a change of pace. Andrew Luck and Frank Reich's Cardinal is coming into town to play against Virginia. A bit of a pro-style look offense from Coach Frank Reich. Not a very good quarterback on paper. And they're coming in Scott Stadium. It's a night game. Are the Who's going to fill the house? I really hope so. We're going to find out, though. But excited to get this one going, coming off a very hot offensive performance against William & Mary. You need this one. You need a very good performance against Stanford to propel yourself to a very important matchup next week, which we'll get into another time. So let's dive into this a little bit. Jay, what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think Stanford is. I watched them play Hawaii back in. I don't know if that was week 1
week
or
zero.
Week 0. Yeah, and they were terrible. I mean, just very unimpressive. And at that point, I thought that this would be a very easy win for Virginia. I'm not as sure now. I mean, I watched a very little bit of the Boston College game. And when I had turned it on, I think it was already tied late in the first half, something like that. But, they want to run the ball. They want to come in and out physical us in our house. So I know we're going to talk about some keys to the game, things like that. I'm not going to say too much. So, I haven't been really impressed by watching them on tape, but they did beat Boston College last week. So, they are dangerous.
Yeah, Dad, initial thoughts?
Hey, don't take anybody for granted. They did beat Boston College. They haven't looked that great, but they did beat Boston College. But they are coming. They were at home for that Boston College game. Boston College went east to west. Stanford's coming west to east. I don't take it for granted, but I'm just going to lock it on in right now. The W's coming our way. Ooh. But that's as a fan. Who's football players, team, don't take them for granted.
Yeah.
Punch them in the mouth. Punch them in the mouth. But the fan of me says this game's over as soon as we step on the field.
I sure hope to believe that will be true.
Is there a Stanford Cardinal College Huddle podcast out there?
I don't think there is. Is there?
Yeah, I don't think there is. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I sure wish there was. I'm calling.
Yeah, I don't think they have fans. I don't think they have very many fans.
I've never met one myself. At ACC kickoff in Charlotte, the day that I was there was both Cal and Stanford and SMU. All three of those schools were there, which worst possible schools, I think. You just kind of feel bad when you're into their interview room and there's just nobody surrounding. There's no media there to interview. And the only interest was the fact that Frank Reich, a former NFL coach, was there for Stanford as an interim, which is so weird to me, by the way. He's the interim. He was hired to be the interim coach. He wasn't hired for a full-time role. But obviously working with Andrew Luck. It's funny seeing Andrew Luck being his boss instead of the other way around back in Indianapolis. But it's a really weird situation. But Reich brings that pro-style kind of offense to Stanford, and we've seen that a little bit with their run game. But
when Andrew Luck was in Indy, he was really the boss. On paper, he might not have been, but on the field, he was the boss. Mm-hmm. Frank Reich was going to do what Andrew Luck wanted him to do.
Yeah,
nothing's changed.
True. That's Andrew Luck. But it is cool seeing Andrew Luck and Frank Reich in the ACC. I guess it's not going to last long. I guess Reich doesn't want anything to do with the job. He's just kind of there to fill in. I don't know what their plan is, but with that, being said, so we talk about that a little bit. I think really important to see a good crowd out of Scott Stadium to cheer on the Hoos. I mean, we're going to get into in just a moment here what's going on next Friday.
I can't hear Jack.
But yeah, really want to see a good crowd at Scott Stadium. I think it's important. It's not a noon kickoff against William & Mary. Let's have a nice crowd. Let's not have, other X accounts to be unnamed take a picture and say woof. Let's have a good crowd show out. It's going to be fun. But as I mentioned, next Friday night, a team from Florida comes into town. That's Florida State. And they look really good. They beat Alabama to open the year. They're smoking their opponents. And they come into town Friday night. And so a lot of fans are almost looking past the Stanford game. And I get it. I do. Saying like, hey, I'm ready to see this happen. I'm ready to see what we can do against Florida State. I get it. But does that set up the potential trap game opportunity against Stanford? And should we be at all worried? Talk about that a little bit. Start with you, Dad.
Yeah, as I said, as the fan of me, I'm looking past Stanford to Florida State next Friday, making my plans for traveling to Scott Stadium next Friday. But up until then, We play Stanford Saturday evening, and Virginia is not the type of team, not the type of program that can be looking past anybody. So, as a team, please don't look past Stanford. Go out there and do what you can do and beat the brakes off of them. Send a message to Florida State and also get the fan base hyped up going into that Florida State game so we'll fill up. Because Friday night, this Saturday night, I think we're going to have a good crowd for the first half, a good crowd, not a great crowd. What I mean is I think the students are going to fill in because it's a night game. But halftime will be about 9 o'clock. And, those students are going to file right on out. They got their night plans. And
they got their parties.
So we need to put on a nice show so the fans come back next Friday, something that they want to get excited about and watch.
Yeah. Jay, thoughts?
I was just going to ask you guys, what do you think the announced attendance will be for Saturday night?
Well, I'll say this about the announced attendance. The last 2 home games, the announced attendance is a lot more than I thought it was. So,
I don't care about that just because every school inflates numbers. So,
yeah, I'm going to expect, I don't know, I think it'll be a good crowd. It'll be a night game, so the students will show up. They don't have to wake up early to come to Scott Stadium. They can sleep in all they want. They can tailgate all day long. I think it'll be a nice crowd. I think, what was that first game was about 46,000, I think it was, something like that. I think it could match that, maybe 48, I'd say. I think they could get up there.
I'm thinking about 50. 50.
Yeah, I was going to say. Go ahead, Jeff.
It was 38 for William and Mary, right, Jack?
Yes, correct.
So I'm thinking about 50.
Yeah, okay. So I was going to say about 40, between 48 and 50 is what I'm kind of guessing, and that is enough to generate a big home field advantage. That can be very loud in that stadium with that many people. I fully anticipate this game being one where, barring crazy things happening, we should have a lot of things to cheer about as well. And like I said, you want to build momentum for that night game the following Friday. But you got to take care of business. Like you can't slip up. You can't slip up, because if you do, you're staring 2-4 in the face. Not just going to be 2-2. You're staring at 2-4. And at that point, you may be in a situation like down the street where people are saying, let's make the change now to get a head start on who we need to bring in next. So huge game. I hate to say it every week, but every week is just a huge game for the Tony Elliott era.
You're 100% correct. I've kind of felt that in a sense of like every game matters. And you hate to say that about like a game like William and Mary. It shouldn't be a huge game. But I think last week's game did matter in a sense of sending a and the Hoos did it. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They sent a message offensively. They didn't give up much defense. They gave up, I think, 16. They had a couple drop balls, obviously. But they sent a message. They did what they were supposed to do against a team like William and Mary. Even Coastal Carolina, who, by the week, looks worse and worse and worse. But you did what you were supposed to do. It was never a doubt, other than the first possession, the first 2 possessions. It was never a doubt. And it matters. It matters with this coaching staff. So, but the line shifted around a little bit. I saw 17 somewhere the other day, but now I've got 15.5.
15.5.
I got 15.5 now. I think it got to 17 at some point. So people are liking Virginia, I guess. I can't remember. I think it opened at like 13, 14.5, but it's Vegas is on Virginia, and Vegas is becoming more and more on Virginia as well. If you look at the lines down the road, the projected lines, Virginia's favored in a lot of the football games, and they're only dogs against FSU. I think last I checked was like 4.5 or something like that. So
they were slight dogs in 3 games that are remaining. No, and then Louisville was the biggest.
Heavy. Yeah, it's like 9.5, something like that.
Yeah. What I thought was funny is they have us as a 9.5 point favorite against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of rumors coming out of that school right now. But yeah. So
if we go out there and beat Stanford, like we should, and we beat them by, say, we put up, 35, 40 points on Stanford and beat them, say, 40-14, and that's not my final score prediction. We may fill Scott Stadium for Florida State.
And we have a shot.
We have a shot to put 60,000 in Scott Stadium against Florida State. Friday night football. And we've seen it in 2019 when the hype was there with Bryce Perkins, and that Florida State game was sold out. I don't know if I think it was sold out. It was
56,000.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
it was
that's all we're going to.
The upper corners were a bit empty. It was 56 was the announced attendance for that game. But that's about as packed as any game we've seen since this last sellout, which was, I think we mentioned the other day, 2007, right? Or 2004, one of those years. The last time we sold out a game. But it was about 56, and I'd be happy with that. If we have 56,000 coming to a game, I'd be happy with that because that's much better than anything we've had in the last few years, other than, I think, the JMU game post-tragedy, when there was the delay and everything. That one was real. That was, what was that, like 57, I want to say, something like that. It was a big number. So
it was a big crowd. But that game, obviously, you had the rain and, and then the delay, and then nobody came back.
Yeah. Well, there was people who came back. It was all JMU fans, Jay. No UVA
fans. They
fans.
were down big. UVA fans should have been ones that came back. We were up big.
I came back.
We came back. I was there, and we witnessed that loss. With that being said, a couple players coming back from injuries this week. Get some news. Cam Robinson, he's listed as an or. It's an or, but he is the first listed middle linebacker. So it's exciting to see him back. He's such a big factor for this defense. And I like him getting in for the Stanford game, getting reps. He needs to get reps because we're going to need him next Friday night. So really important to get him in. That's big. Clary's an interesting one. I don't think Clary's listed, but I think he is ready to go. Coach Elliott talked about him during the press conference this week back on Tuesday. Clary wants to put his body on the line. He wants to play no matter what. And Coach Elliott has to be the bad guy, like, hey, let's hold you another week. There's no reason to risk it. But I don't know if Clary's going to get in this week. I hope he does. I hope he gets some reps. I know he feels ready. I don't know how much they're going to let him play, but he mentioned letting Cam Robinson and Antonio Clary warm up against William & Mary just to get that routine in their system. Like, hey, this is what it's going to be like before a game. And then he's going to let Cam play, and then we'll see about Clary. I've seen Mekhi Buchanan rumors. I'm not too sure about him. I've seen Daniel Sparks is supposed to punt. He should be good to punt. He's not going to kick off. So that'll be interesting in that. I feel like I'm missing one name, but that's pretty much the gist of what we've got going on with injuries. So with that being said, keys to the game, what do you guys got? What does Virginia need to do to win this game, Jay?
Well, you got to get off to a good start. I hope if we win the toss, we actually take the ball for once. When I think about, our offense is really strong. Let's get on the field. Let's get a lead because Stanford wants to play this game almost like a Tony Bennett basketball game. They want this to be a slugfest, ugly, 3 yards every play, work your way down the field. And then maybe hit you over the top for 1 or 2 scores when you start to suck in a little bit. And then other than that, the turnover battle, I think Stanford needs to be +2, maybe even +3 to have a chance against us on Saturday night. If we take care of the ball, which we've done all year, again, I don't think Stanford can really compete with us, but that's when you don't do those things, that's how you get upset. So we got to get off to a good start. We got to take care of the ball. And I think those are the main keys for me.
Ted?
As the once great Santana Moss said, just go. Just go. Score the football. Do what Virginia's done all year. So far, score. Put up as many points as you can put up. Keep Chandler Morris standing upright as you've done all season long. And no silly, stupid turnovers. Protect the football and go SCO. If we go SCO, we're going to win the game. And I mean, I don't think Stanford's going to slow us down. We can score 40 points, and they're not. The game's over. So, and the last thing is, let's get out of the game healthy. Be smart, Chandler Morris. Be smart. Don't take unnecessary hits. On the defensive side, if Cam Robinson comes back, please come out of this game healthy. Let's get out of the game healthy. And so we'll be ready for Florida State. Offensive line's done a great job so far protecting Chandler Morris. Keep protecting him, and we just pray for health on that offensive line.
Yeah. And I'll mention this. I've read somewhere Stanford's defensive line's actually had a pretty good year so far. I think they have a combined 8 sacks or something like that through their first few games. So definitely one of the stronger defensive lines Virginia has had to face yet. So we'll see how that offensive line holds up. I mean, NC State's a bit of a challenge, but they haven't been tested too bad yet. But hey, 0 sacks through 3 games. I'm very happy with that. But I'll get that out the way. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do against Stanford. Just take care of the football. Do what you. I was interested by you saying getting the ball first, Jay, and I think it makes sense because Stanford's going to want to slow this game down. Just go punch them in the mouth right away. I think because I'm always a defer. Let's defer. Let's get the defense out there. Let's get the crowd hyped up. But I like your thought process with that. I think Virginia should take the ball first and just go down and score and punch them in the mouth. I mean, it's as simple as that. I want to see a big Cam Ross turn. He kind of slowed down against William & Mary. I think he got a little over his head trying to make everything a big return. I'd like to see another big return from him. That's just me, though. And, just play defense. Their quarterback isn't very talented. They can run the ball a little bit, but play defense. It shouldn't be a game that Virginia struggles in too much. I don't think so. With that, go ahead, Jay. You got something?
I was just going to say, I mean, when I say, taking the ball first, like, one of the ways that you lose, like when you think about when you watch an upset, how it typically goes, it's like, the team who's the underdog gets the ball and they methodically take 8 minutes, 9 minutes off the clock,
of all time.
and then they score, and then we get the ball. We've been cold now for 20 minutes in real time, sitting on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
We go 3 and out, punt, and then you look at the end of the first quarter, and you've had the ball for a minute and 12 seconds, and then you're trying to catch up from there, and so that's. You just don't want to get into that situation. So you want to, I would say, Coach Dez is really good at those scripted plays early. He's been good all year. Let's give the man credit to this point. Few calls we've questioned, but you're going to, we're fans. We question a lot of things. But for the most part, he's done a great job this year. Good talent makes coaching easier. And this talent that we've paid a lot of money to bring in is producing as they should have. To this point. So let them go produce, let them go score early and often, and hopefully you get some more Danny Kalen time in this one, and you get Cam some reps, but then you get him out of there because he is injury prone at this point. We can say that, and we just want to protect him for down the road.
One thing interesting I thought about, one more thing, and then we'll wrap this segment up. I know we're running low on time. I was thinking about this the other day, because this is an easy portion of the schedule early in the season: Coastal Carolina, NC State, William & Mary, Stanford, and then we'll get into Louisville and Florida State. With this big, you mentioned bringing the big roster and paying all this money. Do you think that the roster from last year's team would be able to start out the way that this team has against some of these weaker opponents? Because it's a much more talented roster this year, but we also got to remember a much weaker schedule.
I think the record will be the same. The way that they got there would be completely different.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
I think the record's probably the same, but offensively, the offensive numbers is nowhere close.
It's not. I
mean, the offensive line situation, and then just the play of Chandler Morris, and that's not to say that Calandria. He could put numbers up too, but he had a little Jekyll and Hyde to him. And the running back situation, everything. It's just
the offensive line is the amount of growth in the offensive line. I continue to mention is just astronomical. So I don't know, just something I was thinking about. With that being said, though, before we get into our final segment, let's give our final score prediction. Sad, what do you got?
Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna go ahead right with what I said already. 40-16. Who's
40-16? Okay. Jay?
I don't know how we're getting there, but
yeah, this is a tough one for me because I hear the points that that Stanford's getting, and I'm like, man, I'd take Stanford. But then when I come up with a score in my head of what I think it's going to be, it's more than what the spread is. So, I just don't know that they can slow us down. But I'm going to say. I think we score a lot. I'm going to say 44 to 17.
Oh, he got a score.
44 to 17.
44
17.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Who's. I'm going to go 40 to 10. 40 to
10. I'm only laughing, but he did at least go less with the 16. Jack's always right on my score.
Wait, what was your score?
I said 40 to 16.
Oh, I didn't even hear you say 40, to be honest with you.
Oh my gosh! Every time we pick, maybe we're in the same household, so he hears the type of scores I pick.
I mean, I got your genes.
He's been raised.
What did you just say, Jack? You got his what?
I've got his genes.
Oh,
his genetics.
Oh, be careful there. Be careful there.
With that being said, hey, before we wrap up, let's get to our NFL picks really quick. We've really derailed this episode. Jay, I'll start with you. You want to give your first pick you have for this weekend coming up?
Well, they're already out publicly, and so if you've seen me looking up all night, it's because one of Jeff's picks is going right now. He's got I'll let him say what he's got, but I'm trying to think, Jack. You put me on the spot, and I'll put the article out there. I know I've got Dallas and Chicago under 50.5.
I thought we were going to talk about them. Sorry about that.
You got Cardinals. Fine. You got 49ers minus 1.5 and Chargers minus 2.5.
Yeah. I get there. Yeah. So Dallas, I just think, I did this last year. Any game pretty much that showed up over 50, I just took the under in general as a rule. And I really do think this game hits the under because people are going to they're basing everything off what they saw last week with the Dallas offense. But
I like that pick.
I think Chicago is going to come in really aggravated with how that game went against Detroit on defense. They got embarrassed. Typically, when teams in the NFL get embarrassed, they come back the next week and play a lot better. So I would anticipate. I know they're down some guys, but I don't know. 50.5 seems like a lot. It'll probably go right close to that, but I don't think it goes over. We just doing one pick.
You can just go ahead and get all three if you want.
You can knock them all out if you want.
Okay, so
yeah, big analysis.
The Chargers have looked so good, and if you're telling me basically all they got to do is win by field goal. Most NFL games, if you're going to win, a field goal is not hard. You typically are going to cover that 2.5. If that game went to 3.5, I'll probably flip to Denver, but I'll take the 2.5. I like Herbert to get that job done. He's looked like the league MVP to this point, in my opinion. And then in Arizona, Kyler Murray just sucks. Kyler Murray is terrible. And I know the San Francisco 49ers are down Kittle. They're possibly down Purdy again. I just don't care who plays. Give me Shanahan. The Cardinals almost blew a 27-3 second half lead against the horrible Carolina Panthers at home last week. So I just don't trust them at all. Give me the Niners to win that game. And they're only favored by 1.5. So
what do you got, Dad?
So hopefully this is your notice to go to thecavalierconnection.com and read the articles, because these picks were posted this morning. If you want to win some money, you could have followed one of my picks over 49.5 here in this Dolphins and Bills game. So it's on as we speak. I think that the Bills are going to score another touchdown to push it to 21-7 with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter, which, if my math is correct, that puts us on pace for probably over 56 points. So definitely go check those picks out. Not doing you any good if you're listening now. I also took the under 44.5 in the Commander Raider game. I just envision a low scoring game. I see something like Washington maybe winning 27-17
Marcus
or
Mariota.
24-20. 24-20 gets me under 44.5. So and my last one, Jaguars have looked pretty dang good this year, and Jay joked on me with the gold locks in the article that generational talent, and I will say I did trade the young man away this offseason. I might regret it.
He had a long run with him.
That Jaguar teams look solid, so I took Jaguars -1.5 against the Texans at home. I'm just surprised, but we'll see. That's my picks. I am your clubhouse leader right now in the standings. Jack, wrap us up on that one.
They say save the worst for last, huh? I got 2 picks coming out of Tennessee. They play the Colts this week. I got the Colts -4.5 against Tennessee. The Colts look good, I guess. And Cam Moore doesn't been the most impressive. He doesn't have much around him. So I've got the Colts -4.5. And then I've also got the under 43.5 because there hasn't been much happening with that Titans offense. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game. So 2 picks in that game. And then I'm going to go over to the NFC South. A lot of divisional games happening this week, which is pretty fun. The Panthers play the Falcons. I'm going to take the Panthers +5.5 against the Falcons. I'm a believer. Bryce Young, baby. Bryce Young, Ted McMillan. Let's get that offense rolling. They're going to beat the Falcons. I think they're going to beat the Falcons, but if they lose, they won't lose by any more than 5.5. So give me Panthers +5.5, and it's turnaround week, baby.
That's a huge prediction there. That's a hot take. Get those Panthers get their first win.
So Jack, are you saying take a money line? Get somebody a little extra money.
He said sprinkle. He said sprinkle.
I wouldn't hate the money line. So
now I will say,
purposes,
Jack, I made a mistake last week. I gave Jack the benefit of being 1-2 when I was 0-3 the first week.
I messed up too.
I told Jack, and Jack he went on with it
because I really didn't correct me.
But Jack was actually 0-3 week 1 as well. So Jeff was 2-1 first week, 2-1 second week. I mean, I hit the turnaround as I said I would. Turn around 3-0 week 2. So I'm back to 500 3-3 for the year. If you'd have played that as a parlay last week, that would have been a nice payday. Jack was hanging on every play in that Monday night game, praying for the under to avoid that 0-6 start, and he was able to. He got that big under in the Raider game to avoid the 0-6. Jack hanging in at 1-5 through 2 weeks.
I'm hanging in. It's for the better that I'm underage and I don't have to place the actual bets. So I'm not going bankrupt. I might go bankrupt in a couple of years is basically what I'm saying when I get access.
Well, the main thing, Jack, is just play the opposite. Really have a strong opinion and then bet exactly the opposite. Don't play mind tricks on yourself and try to pick the opposite because you're going to get screwed up then. Actually, go bet the opposite of what you think is going to happen. And then you'd be 5-1.
Do the George Costanza.
That's right.
That's going to wrap us up tonight. We appreciate all of you for listening in. Go check out thecavalierconnection.com. You can see more in-depth details. Jay dropped a couple jokes about all of us, about our picks, and you don't want to miss any of them. You mentioned the Goldilocks. There's a whole lot more in there that you don't want to miss. And then also a bunch of articles. We'll probably get a Stanford preview article up there tomorrow morning or Saturday morning, as well as recaps. Yeah.
I just want to mention one more thing. When you go to thecavalierconnection.com, we thank our sponsor, Mensers, and definitely go check out their website. And we have a link right to the store from our website that links us all together. Click that link and go do some shopping for your football gear for this Saturday or upcoming weeks. And it helps us and it helps Mensers as well. So definitely just go check it out. Go on to cavalierconnection.com and click the Mensers link. It'll take you right there to the website for you to make your purchases.
That's right. Yep. So be sure to go check out thecavalierconnection.com. You'll see a recap as well as live game updates after the Stanford game as well. With that being said, though, the Who's take on the Stanford Cardinal coming up Saturday night. It's a big one. before they prepare for the Seminoles of Florida State to come into town. Let's not get trapped. Let's go win a football game. Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.